This is Bill Keller, founder of LivePrayer.com with the Daily Devotional for Tuesday, July 16th, 2013. Genesis 1:26 and 27, Deuteronomy 10:17, Acts 10:34, Romans 2:11. The story of the sad Trayvon Martin affair, the media will not tell you. First, there are no winners in this tragedy. Trayvon Martin is dead. George Zimmerman will live forever with the fact he killed another human being, even if it was in self-defense, as the jury concluded, and never have a normal life again. Remember what I've shared with you for years now. The Bible teaches division of any kind is from Satan, and there's only one race, the human race. As the actual facts came out during the trial of George Zimmerman, it became apparent the real story had nothing to do with race, but parenting. This is not about a wannabe cop racially profiling, hunting down and killing a child in a hoodie who only had a bag of Skittles and a can of iced tea, as the media portrayed. The facts were clear that Trayvon Martin had more than enough time to get back to his father's house, but chose instead to confront Zimmerman, break his nose, continue the violent attack. I'm in no way minimizing the very real issues that have existed and exist today between the black community and some in the police, nor am I minimizing the fact our criminal justice system often treats black men and women unfairly. Those issues are very real, but have nothing to do with the facts of the Trayvon Martin case, and it is disingenuous to say they do. Let me say, from a personal perspective, I found the post-verdict coverage appalling. MSNBC and CNN not just support and promote the killing of innocent babies and the radical homosexual agenda, they're now little more than a forum for race baiters. It's no surprise to see full Reverend Sharpton and Jackson, but there was no shortage of others filling the airways like NAACP's Ben Jealous to fan the flames of racial hatred. It also sickens me that President Obama, with all the real global issues he has to deal with, had to chime in to fan the flames of racism. Add to President Obama is AG Eric Fast and Furious Holder, who has also chimed in with threats of DOJ involvement regarding the violation of George Zimmerman of Trayvon Martin's civil rights. While Holder and the DOJ is dealing with their clear involvement in running guns to Mexican drug cartels, their violation of the rights of reporters and citizens by illegal wiretaps, they seem to have time to become involved in an issue the courts have adjudicated simply to exacerbate the racial tensions in the nation. Equally as sickening, but not surprising, were the irresponsible discussing violence inciting comments of many pro athletes and celebrities with huge followings on social media. Worst of all were black pastors who actually went in their pulpits on Sunday with a hoodie to protest the verdict. Of all people in our society who should rise above Satan's thick game of division, it should be men called by God to lead people in ways of righteousness, not add to the hatred and division that already exists. Of course, while the high-profile trial gave a platform to those who seek to divide people by skin color under the guise of civil rights, there's never a mention of hundreds of young black men being killed in the streets of our cities every single day. Why are several thousand black babies aborted each day, adding to the culture of violence and death our children grow up with? Says human life is not precious and has no value. No, that would require real conversation, real debate about why that's happening, how to stop it. It's much easier to create a made-for-TV controversy, even if the facts are shown from day one. Facts even the FBI investigated showed never existed. What nobody's talking about after the not guilty verdict was delivered by the real issues of this case: parenting. I pray for and have sympathy for parents of Trayvon Martin in losing their child. However, I submit to you that if they had been real parents prior to his death, the sad tragedy most likely would have been avoided. I know to some that may sound very cold to put the blame on the parents, but that's where a big portion of the blame lies. Here are the cold facts that came out during the trial, even though many of the facts were ruled by the judge not to be heard by the jury. The only reason Trayvon was in Sanford that February night was because he was serving his 5th suspension from school for infractions like fighting, possession of stolen goods, possession of marijuana. These were all crimes that could have been prosecuted but were reclassified as school violations. The autopsy showed he had marijuana in his system at the time of the incident. A forensic look at his phone showed that in the 3 months prior to the tragic incident, Martin had pictures of pot and guns as well as numerous text messages about fighting. It's apparent from his cell phone he was infatuated with smoking pot, guns, fighting, all within months of leading up to that fateful night in Sanford. Any responsible parent would realize that if their 16-year-old was suspended from school 5 times a year, had done any research on things he had gravitated to, like smoking pot, fighting, and guns, they would have stepped in since something is seriously wrong. Also, how does a responsible parent allow a 16-year-old to get a gold grill put into his mouth? Where did the money come for such an expensive item since Trayvon never worked? Once again, you may find this a cold look at this sad affair, but a very legitimate one. For all those black hosts and commentators in the media the past few days lamenting what to tell their children, that's simple. Love the Lord your God with all your heart. Love others. Don't fantasize about and try to emulate the hip-hop culture that is about illicit drugs, violence, and death. Explain to your children why those black entertainers who make millions glorifying a culture, drugs, violence, and death are not of God but of Satan himself. They are not to be admired but shunned. As I've shared with you for years, the breakdown of marriage and the family is the number one issue in our culture since it's the foundation of our culture. Nearly 50% of black babies are born out of wedlock. The poverty rate amongst blacks is at an all-time high and has only gotten worse under our first black president. There are fundamental foundational problems in the minority communities that are leading to nearly half of black young men ending up in prisons, and the blame is on the churches in those communities. The churches in minority communities used to be the social and spiritual heart of those communities. Sadly, that's no longer the case. The majority of the last two generations of young blacks have abandoned the church. It's never been part of their life. They see the church as nothing more than another hustle. Without the parental nurturing and supervision, they've gravitated to the gangs and a life on the streets. Death or prison is the natural end to such a life. This is not just a black problem. It's a problem for people of every skin color. The lack of parenting and parental nurturing and influence is rampant in all neighborhoods today. Once again, it's simply the byproduct of a culture that has turned marriage into little more than a legal date or abandoned it altogether, and the better percentage of several generations have never been to church. It's a problem that will continue to get worse, and the only answer is to work on turning these young adults to followers of Christ. Love and care about you so much. Sadly, with the help of true minions of Satan like Sharpton and Jackson and others, a major cable network, racial divisions are alive and well today. They may be worse than ever in several decades. The Trayvon Martin tragedy is not even a real issue in the scheme of things, but does give us a glimpse into where the problems are in our culture. Unless we get back to bringing young men and women to faith in Jesus, parents saved and they understand their godly role in the life of their children, unless we create a culture where life is precious, people have worth, nothing will change. That's why I've shared with you for years the only hope and answer for each person in this nation is to turn back to God and His truth and bring the lost and hurting the only real hope there is, and that's found in a relationship with Jesus Christ. In His love and service, your friend and brother in Christ, Bill Keller. If I can help you in any way, email me, bkeller@liveprayer.com.